Preparing for the board changed my life in a very good way. One of the things that I had planned on doing when I was going to the board was to just walk in there and, show them that I wasn't the person that I was when I came in and try to find a way to cop to something that I didn't do. So I would talk to a lot of people that went to the board who were, on the yard with me. And I expressed it to them. I'm like, look, man, I'm going up in here and trying to, get out of something that I didn't do. So I don't have much knowledge of it other than what I had on the transcripts. And they told me, they said, well, look, this is what you're going to go through. So they give you the whole rundown of, getting ready to go to the board and so forth. And, the type of questions that they're going to be asking you when you go in there. You got to take psych reports, all of this. And so I'm wondering, like, what's up with a psych report? He said, oh, man, they go back over your whole life. Back when you was a kid, they're going to have a psychologist come in and talk to you and ask you all type of weird questions. They're going to look at you and, write stuff that they, read out of your reactions and so forth. And all of this is going to be given to the board people, and that's going to determine whether you are psychologically fit for society. And I'm saying to myself, man, this is some shit here. So they gave me a copy of a psych report that they use to, get people to understand the process. And it was somebody who had, you know, didn't mind showing their background. They were never getting out. They, just was willing to share their whole life with people. And so the type of questions that they were asking you about is, did you ever wet the bed? And did you fight animals? Did you talk back to your parents? How old were you when you first started drinking? And I'm saying to myself, man, what the hell do you need to know all this about me for? But this is the process. Now imagine yourself being in prison on a life sentence for something that you not only didn't do, but that you were never arrested for or anything. And you're going up in here with people who don't even know because they didn't expect for you to make it that far. They figured that you was just some old dumb Negro off the streets who's going to go to prison, get caught up in every vice that there is, and eventually die or add more time to yourself. But here it is, you got not only one, but two educated brothers. Another in Bobby McClellan, the brother that they knew as Hitman. He was the same, going in there with what they needed to get out of prison. And so here I am, getting ready to go up in there to these people. And when I get there, they don't even know why I'm there. So I'm saying to myself, wait a minute, I didn't prepare myself to answer questions about B-Rat and Sticks from Swans and all these cats. And they're asking me about a case that was a mistrial. So I'm just knowing that when I come back, they're going to have to cut me loose because they have no reason to keep me in prison. They came back and they cited the exact same thing that they found as a mistrial as the reason for denying me. So I went back to the yard. And this is where it gets crazier because once you get started in this process, nobody's going to carry you. You're like your own man. There are people always willing to help, but you have to be willing to learn. So I met a brother named Terry David, Jehovah Witness brother. And funny how Allah made that happen because, as I told you, I grew up in a foster home where my parents, Mrs. Alberta Thomas, was Jehovah's Witness. And we stayed there, I think, up to a year or two. So me and him, we had a lot to talk about. And besides, there's a lot that we had in common regarding religion. So he started showing me how to do my own writs and everything and, going through these psych reports. And it was a blessing to me because not only did it eventually allow me to get myself out of prison, it allowed me to expose a lot of things that has me in the position I am today as a free man trying to expose the fact of what they did to me. And as a result of what they did to me, how my whole life was turned upside down. So here I am, walking around on the yard, and who do I run into? J-Dee from the Lynch Mob. Yeah, the one who would rap with Ice Cube. So, you start hearing a lot about their lives, the things that they went through, and you realize that a lot of the people that you were on the streets building your life around was no different than you, and were, you know, just made to look bigger. But I mean, he was in the same chains that I was in, and not just him. You turn and go to another yard. We were able to go to different yards to play sports with people. Who do you bump into? Bobby Womack Jr. I think who else? Jim Brown's son was on the yard. My old Sally, that when I was at Lancaster, Maybelline Ephraim's nephew, Talene, Casey. So you find out that you run into all type of famous people and relatives of famous people that were caught in the same traps, and now they're going through the same net process. And if they have life sentences, they have to expose their whole everything that they know about themselves and put it into a database. And what I find shocking about that is that the same process that they were using, they were sharing data with Canada. Inshallah, if I can, I will put that up on the site to show you what a psychiatric report looks like from CDC. With the overcrowding there at CMC, for the first time in my life, I was able to really be able to understand being around a blood. Right, I was sailed with a brother named Lil Sleepy from Inglewood family, and he was about half my age. And I mean, CMC cells are small. It's like two people living in a bathroom, and the beds are right over top each other. You gotta, walk sideways when the bunks are down just to get out of the room. And I was able to sit down and talk with him, and listen to this. Everything about everybody was the same. And I'm saying to myself, what the hell are we killing each other out there on these streets for? So I was bumping some Anita Baker one day, Sweet Love, and he told me my mama used to bump that when I was little. I said, damn, little brother, you making me feel old. Well, this is the end of this episode.